Hey, I am live. Supposedly, I'm just prepping here a little bit. Scott will be here in a moment. I'll sit here and draw and talk about things. Since my mind is a complete blank, Scott got a hold of me about 20 minutes ago and reminded me it was Wednesday. Here's the main reason I'm started things. There we go. That's I've got both YouTube open, but that delay sound is not going to be a factor now. That's good. I forget why I even want YouTube open. Why do I want it open? Well, I guess so I could tell people we're on. That would be a mistake. I think I'll just close it. Okay, there we go. I'm done. All right. Hadn't adjusted my camera to where you can see that there's anything like a sweet spot of anything to see. There we go. That looks good. Hey, that was pretty random. I'll just I'll work with a big deluxe Sharpie tonight. How about that? Let's see if I have anything important to say about how I do art. Well, usually I start with the whole point about what I get up to that I veer away from at all times. And I think everybody that does comic books, you're working from a script or something like that, and right away you get a description of what you should be drawing. And that instantly informs the mind that you've got, you know, X amount of volumes to depict in said window of space. And that can be completely stultifying. What you need to go for is like, what is the impact of what that script is saying uh, is in this moment? In other words, there might be just a tear. Well, my automatic impulse is to go for the laziness. It might be a crowd scene, but maybe someone's emotion is the most important thing in the scene, and just go right in close on so that you know what to, for one thing, for what to get reference on. You might want to get somebody crying that you can build things on and get it done in more of a hurry and be efficient, like that. I just recently read, took a coffee sip of, let's see, Cruel Summer by Brubaker. And as usual, I can't really point at a single Brubaker project I really hated. Uh, Fatal went up and down a little bit with me, but it was good. It had what it needs. It had that. Oh, I want to know more about this aspect to it. The tell me more. That's all a story needs. You set something up and you go, tell me more, and that'll take you through any kind of story. And then it's just events, and if you're good at plopping events and telling us about ourselves, I guess every time a person tells a story, they're telling us about ourselves. It's it sounds easy actually. Just make them more. Um, think of all your favorite stories. They're the ones that continue. It's like the Wizard of Oz. Just keep telling me more about this strange stuff. And that primal thing that goes on at the beginning of someone wanting to kill your dog. Old Hollywood and old America in general, it was so much less wimpy. We were around like people were coming straight off the farm, even if they were cityfied now. They knew lots of bloodletting has to go on to have things as they are. And if a dog is killing chickens or killing somebody else's animal, that'd be an ex dog. And even when you think about Judy Garland defending the dog, it's like, yeah, she didn't make much of a case. She lost. Well, of course, think about how they got pushed around. It's like, oh yeah, well, I've got a lawyer, and of course they have to let themselves be pushed, even though it's just totally against all emotional rightness that you allow somebody to take your dog and kill it for not a particularly good justification. They have to because they're little people, as they say in Blade Runner. You know the score. It's fun to listen to guys like, and he's still alive. That's what amazed me. Is M. Emmett Walsh. Uh, I saw recently a blood simple. There's nothing like seeing old memories of films discussed again. Francis McDormand, M. Emmett Walsh. I saw a couple of those. I think the guy that played the dead guy, he was also in that one with that blonde girl where she's a valley girl, and she pushes that guy off with that great line, as if. What was the name of that? It just it wasn't Valley Girls. I don't think I've seen Valley Girls. Alicia Silverstone. But anyway, yeah, he was the dad, and that also gave me a fun moment of the saying, now, do we want to have that out there? Of course we want to have it out there. I mean, somebody had a funny line to write, and the fact that he is giving his daughter uh, a gold star, basically, for coming up with something that is a cheat because it worked was really a funny moment. He because as a lawyer, it's like he was just impressed because she explains it how she did it. I thought that was funny. I had a friend send me a link that looks real interesting. It looks like they're just finally just giving this guy that shot Ashley Babbitt on the 6th of January, that they're just giving him not much wiggle room. We pretty much know who he is now. And so at that point, it becomes like, okay, how long does it go before someone allows that to be news? Never. It really is amazing, because if there is one thing that, evening, Natasha and International, ask me anything. Since I'm just waiting for Scott to show up. He's late, 10 minutes. He told me he'd be late, but I didn't think he'd be 10 minutes. I started and thought I'd just blend him in here real quick when he got in. I forget what my reason was for starting early. Oh, yeah, just so I could turn YouTube off instead of... I just decided, why do I have YouTube on? StreamYard, I still want to break... if there's one thing a guy ought to educate himself about... Oh, there he is. Here he comes. Everybody get ready. Add to stream. Hey, Scott, can you hear me?
Hey, I can hear you. I don't have my camera on, so you can't see me.
Yeah, you're a Green Lantern icon.
Yeah, I saw that. I literally just walked in the door at my house. I had to work late tonight, and so I'm eating. When I get done eating, I'll turn my camera on. If I smack too much, let me know.
Okay.
But I didn't want to leave you hanging.
Oh, that's all right. That's all right. Natasha International asked, and you can comment on this, Scott. What do you think of the anime art style? Which I guess is just the global notion about what is anime anyway. Because
yeah.
What are you having? What are you eating? I had a chicken pot pie.
What am I eating?
Yeah.
Oh, I warmed up it's a honey chipotle, a Stouffer's microwave honey chipotle chicken. So we're living We're living high on the hog over
Oh
here.
yeah. Well, yeah, we are actually.
This is this is my busy season at work until I had to work till 6:30,
Wow.
and you know, yeah, I got there at 7:15, so it was almost an 11-hour day.
Oh, did you?
It was a long day.
I did my usual stream of consciousness, forget completely that there might be a topic. What do you think of anime, Scott? Do you collect any of it?
Yeah, absolutely. Now the stuff I like is the older stuff, just because. But like when I was in college, one of my so when I was in college in the '80s, late '80s, one of my professors brought a unsubbed, undubbed VHS straight from Japan copy of Akira
I knew it.
and let us watch that. And and even though we couldn't understand it, it was pretty amazing. This was Mike Kennedy, by the way.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh,
But
Mike Kennedy brought it. Okay. Hmm. Yeah, you guys
yeah,
went to school
so
together, didn't you?
seeing, well, he went to school with Dave,
Okay.
and then he was a professor when I went to the school a few years later, or an assistant professor or whatever. But so the big classic stuff I really like. Akira, I think, is phenomenal. In fact, if I ever got a tattoo, it would be probably of the Akira logo. Now, at
Hmm.
one point, I would say the Marvel Comics logo, but Akira hadn't broke my heart yet. So, you know,
You mean that pill?
but
The
no, no,
pill?
no,
Isn't
no,
that
no,
the
not the
logo?
pill. The
Okay.
no, no, no. It's the word Akira with like
Okay.
Japanese script across it or something like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and of course the strip
But
itself, the
I
anime of the strip is just amazing. You know what led to the
Well, that's what I was
movie
going to
getting
say.
made.
You're yeah. So in terms of anime, um, I have a great book by a guy named Masamune or something. Anyway, some Japanese guy called Orange, and he did the some of the background work in Akira,
Hmm.
and he's done a bunch of stuff. He did a book. He worked with a company called Studio 4C, 3C, something like that, and they did a bunch of later kind of they did one called Mind Game, which he directed, I think. That was pretty interesting. I'm trying to think what else they did, but some of that stuff I like. I like, of course, I like Ghost in the Shell. Um, there's a great anthology. There's two great anthologies called one's called Memories. It has three stories in it,
Hmm.
and
You're
that's
talking
all.
about movies now. Is that what she's? Is that what
Yeah,
Natasha's talking about? Is movies?
anime is animated movies. Yeah,
Okay.
not
Oh,
manga is the books.
manga is the books. Yeah. See, I did a brain halt
I
there where I was using the wrong terms in my own brain. Yeah, yeah. I was trying to
well,
remind you we're talking about books here, Scott, and we aren't.
I got the impression that you and I weren't on the same wavelength.
Yeah,
So,
there we go. Once again.
but as far as the style goes, um, I love the drawing style both in Akira in the manga of Akira and Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah. Hmm.
Ghost in the Shell, especially,
I finally
has
watched
kind of a
Scarlett Johansson's movie. It was pretty good. It wasn't
oh
bad.
yeah, I think it's not bad. It got, I mean, it's unfortunate it got crapped on so bad because she was
Yeah.
white.
Yeah,
Because
yeah, that
I
was
enjoyed
they
it.
made that the whole point of it, wasn't it? They actually did a pretty good job of giving you the big high points of the cartoon. I'm sure they could have got,
Yeah.
it's good. I was told by, here's the reason I ask, is because I was always told that it wasn't art by an aunt who was an art professor. Well, that's
Oh,
interesting.
well,
There can't be anything
Andy
that
Warhol's.
you could just totally shame anybody else on their abilities than one of those guys that's able to crank out animations and storyboards the way somebody that does that kind of art would be able to, compare himself to any other artist. He just would shame them with what he could do that they couldn't do. So that's
Yeah,
interesting
Andy
to me.
Warhol said art is.
Go ahead.
Andy Warhol said art is whatever you can get away with.
That's right.
So
Yeah, no. If you got somebody on the line for a portrait and you hand them something that's kind of silly looking and they buy it, you've made art.
well,
I don't know why that occurred to me.
It's so
Go ahead.
it's so pretentious. It's like, oh, okay, this is art and this isn't, or whatever. I mean, no offense against your aunt. I mean, because I get it, but here's the thing: so much of art, what's really considered like fine art, is really, especially when you get into modern art, it's really more about a production. Some of these big artists that do big. Big, like Jeff Koons and that sort of thing. It's a production. They're more almost like a construction manager or something. They're not really doing. They can see it. So the conception is what's considered the art.
Well, it's like that guy.
I prefer.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was going to say I prefer art that looks like something when you draw it or paint it. It looks like something
representational art,
and it looks as much.
Hey Scott, are you on? Are you getting your sound from YouTube?
No,
because we seem to be in a dimension that is several seconds apart.
I don't know. All I have is my phone with my headphones plugged in.
Okay, and you aren't on YouTube.
Not plugged in.
You're using the link I sent. Okay.
Yes, I'm streaming, and there's no YouTube on in my house, I don't think.
Okay. I guess it's just a feature of StreamYard that decides we needed to delay as we talk to each other. Okay. I wonder if I talk to you while listening. No, that wouldn't help. What am I thinking? So maybe if I turn on YouTube.
No. Don't add.
Yeah, don't add anything to it.
I don't think that'll help.
Uh-uh.
Exactly. So what'd you do today? It's a nice day today.
It was. I didn't go for my walk yesterday, and so it was time to get back to that discipline and went for it. And then I don't know, maybe it was blood sugar or blood pressure or something, but I got tired and dropped for a nap. It felt good. It was a power nap of about 2 or so hours, but it kind of blew a hole in what I was planning to do today. I've got an oil painting I've got to finish, get it off my table, and then officially declare I'm done oil painting, because I'm so into the digital painting right now. I don't even want to be distracting myself with the idea that I want to be cracking out oils and getting a halfway result out of those things. So, I'm getting good results with digital. Just go ahead and quit the crap, stow it, make a present of it. I don't know. Find out if somebody else wants to be an oil painter and give them the paints. Go ahead.
I always tell myself I'd love to paint, and I've painted. I painted in college and then in high school, but I was never, ever happy with my results. I had so much trouble with edge control.
Yeah. Everybody's always just fighting the tool as much as anything as you learn how to paint. It's, I think that's all the first introduction to painting ought to just be make sure you know what you're doing here as this comes off the brush, just one, I mean, do you understand what you're doing with this brush? And that's one of those things that I think, when I looked at Frazetta, I thought I had Frazetta all figured out the other day. And I couldn't
Oh yeah.
wait. I couldn't wait to try it because I was struck by was Frazetta. Some of my favorite paintings of his are what you could call pickouts, where he has come along, blocked it in with very thin oil, and then picked it out, come along, given his highlights and all that. And then that remains behind the stuff he does as it gets thicker. And you can, it still remains 50% that thin approach. So I said, well, I can do this. I'm going to get on there and get real thin. And then my washes didn't behave like I wanted them to. And I even flattened it out so I could not have gravity working on them. And so whatever I'm doing, it was just something I couldn't solve that was given me. And also my surface was probably ruined by having, a spray, not spray fix, but I had a couple other fixative kind of layers on it to varnish, some varnish kind of stuff. And it was like, okay, I'm not doing something right. And then the surface, I said, well, what I need to do is gesso some masonite. And then at that point, I thought, no, you don't. You need to just give up. It's like,
oh
okay.
man.
Well, no. I just said, this is not what I'm doing. I'm not going to get good at it in the next few years or whatever. And it's like, work on the digital, get good at that. If you get so dang good at that point, if I got really good at digital and I said, I'd really like a real painting in front of my face here, I might try to start trying to figure out ways to transfer what I was getting digitally onto the oil canvas.
You can do that. There's a guy at my work that does these huge collages for companies. And I think he makes big bucks. I mean, and they're probably 24 by 48. It's a big rectangle thing. And what he does is he puts them all together in Photoshop, and he makes them look like paintings. I mean, he assembles photos.
Yeah.
Then he makes them look like paintings by adding some paint to them. Then he prints them out on canvas, and then he adds paint to the top of it, and they sell them as originals, and he makes good money on those.
Wow. It's almost a scam.
I don't know if they sell them exactly original.
It's almost a scam. Yeah, I mean, he'd have to tell them it was like multimedia or something,
Well, I don't think they say there's an original oil painting, but I'm not involved in that. And for a while he was looking for somebody to help him, but it was like they told him he had to find somebody because they were paying him at the house, and I think they were paying him like $2,000 or $3,000 a piece.
Yeah.
And he was doing them like in 2 nights. And it wasn't even that they minded paying him. It's that they because they passed all that savings on, they just were worried that something would happen to them and they wouldn't have anybody to do them. And he didn't want anybody else to figure out how to do them because he didn't want to lose his cash cow.
Yeah, he was.
Management told him, "Oh, you got to." So he was just real reluctant to show anybody, and never would work. Yeah, you got to spread this out, and he didn't want anybody else doing them because it's like he's making good money doing this, But he's a good painter, so
Well, yeah, that it takes that kind of knowledge. Hey, and Nasser's here.
If you want to get rid of your paints, let me know.
Okay.
Well, what do you have? How much do you have? Do you have a whole set, or what do you have?
Oh my gosh, I've got a wealth of paint laying around and miscellaneous kind of. But a lot of it's so old that it's like you have to use, tools to get the lids off of them. Or
well, Oh, so this isn't something you sprang up lately.
No, no, no. I mean, this stuff has been laying
If
around
if you
forever.
figure if you want to get rid of it, let me know and figure out what a fair price would be, and we'll talk about it.
Hey, Nasser, I'll show off your books while you're here. Watch this. I'll run and get them. I know where they're at.
So Ellis has abandoned me, abandoned you with me, and I can't see who's here.
I forgot to check out these babies. Look at that.
I can't see it.
Nasser. Okay, yeah, yeah, you can. Okay.
No, I'm done though.
This is a pretty
I'm
cool
gonna.
concept he's got. I'm looking forward to dipping into these once I get done with all my library books. He's got these paperbacks, or I think like 5x6 or something like that. Let me measure that real quick. Here, I'm gonna tape measure right next to me. That is 5 1/4 by 8, 5 1/4 by 8. And I thought to myself, you know what? I would love to have my own, or just about another inch this way and that way of what I typically put a comic book out as. And I would love to have my comic book artwork just a little extra reduction and detail intensification because of reduction in this size. So I'm going to look at that next time and think more like, because my style, you're not digging into how beautiful my line quality is. You just want the story. You got to be able to read it. So that's a factor. You know, your word balloons can't get too dinky. So yeah, Nasser, whatever that's worth is a signal boost. Those arrived, and looking forward to getting into them. I think he's already gone. I think he dropped in and said hi and split. Hey, Scott, I see you. You're up to things. Now.
I'm up to something. Yeah. I've been so in the first week in June, I'm taking off work, and I'm gonna have like an artist sabbatical. I'm not gonna be on social media or anything. I may do the show, but I'm like, I need to get me a sketchbook going.
Mm-hmm.
I did this a few years ago, and I actually started a sketchbook, and so I'm thinking about. So I've been digging through my supply of old sketchbooks and trying to figure out what I have. I don't want to buy any. I got a bunch that I haven't got into and that sort of thing. But I'm going to go through. My goal is to go through, a couple anatomy books, get some anatomy practice in, that sort of thing. I want to work on my comic. I still have that story about the guy that flies in New York and gets attacked.
Mm-hmm. Well, you ought to.
But
I was so impressed. I started this show without you by talking about the fact I'd read Cruel Summer. Have you read that Brubaker anthology? It's part of the criminal thing.
No.
You haven't read that? Have you read
any?
No. Oh, you haven't? Okay. Well, it's a great story.
No, none of it.
Yeah, it's pretty fun to dip into. It's a lot of good storytelling, good characters.
I'll check it out. I think the library has some of that stuff.
Well, I'll tell you offline about something else that you could have as a resource.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
That would come from our friend Barry.
Oh, gotcha. So, have you seen? Did you ever own this, Ellis?
What's that? Oh, let me look. Oh, yeah, I love that. I knew a guy that was crazy about this artist. Talk about your anime. Oh, is that Windling? Oh, yeah. Well, I'm the one who's crazy about this artist. I love Claire Windling.
Oh, but you don't have this book. Did you ever have this book, Drawers 2.0? I don't know why it's 2.0.
No, I've got one where it's Is this put out exclusively by Ing?
No, it's some French company,
Okay.
Le Cyclist. But I did buy it from NG at San Diego one year,
Oh yeah. Okay.
and
Show some of that. I want
I
that book.
love this
I'm
stuff.
looking at it. Oh yeah. Well, that's what you need
I
to.
cannot imagine. Yeah.
That's what you need
What do
instead
I
of
need?
anatomy, Scott. That's what you need. You need what
Is
she's
this
up to.
gesture?
Yes, yes. You need to look
What?
at Hieronymus Bosch. Not Hieronymus Bosch. Is that who I'm thinking of? Yeah, Heinrich Clay, not Hieronymus Bosch. Heinrich Clay, and
Oh, I have. Yeah.
and
Heinrich Clay is the guy that if at one point if you sent a submission into Marvel, they would say, "Look at Heinrich Clay."
yeah.
That was the because his
Well, I mean,
because he
just think of
has.
that, Scott. You had that to react to all this time, and had an ambition that you wanted people to be paying attention to what you were up to, and and then you go back to doing anatomy, which is totally stultifies your line. You need to make this
Oh, so I need to move
seminar.
beyond that.
Yes, you need to decide. Okay, I've plateaued, and it's time to learn something new. And
Okay.
if you will get yourself a little Claire Windling, because that's who she's in love with there. Obviously, she's got her own Heinrich Clay thing going. You don't, and
Yeah.
all of them, Frazetta, all of them, even at the rough stage, their rhythms that they get going are, they're all just all about connecting the dots from here to there with a ribbon instead of a chunk of wood. I mean, it really is that way. I mean, they are because what do you do? I mean, when did you ever play that game where you somebody had to make a doodle and then someone else next had to make something out of it? That's all you're doing every time you draw.
No, but that's
And,
yeah.
so if your doodle
I
starts out with that liveliness, then that's what you want. That's what you want. You want to start alive.
okay. You've convinced me.
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
know. You've convinced me.
yeah.
That was easy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
I know.
I happened to. I just pulled that from my bookshelf last night before I went to bed, and I
Hmm.
was like, "What am I going to look at before I go to bed?" And I pulled that down, and I looked at it. I was like, "Oh man, this is really nice."
Hmm.
I oh okay. So well, now I showed you this.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I sent
And
you
that's
this.
the Riley method.
The
Yeah, and look at that. That
the
is
Riley
all
method. I
about the fact. I wish I could have my mouse show up. I just point all over. Okay, I'm looking at my own mouse like you can see it. Um, but like, look, for one thing, you can see the starfish that I've told you about. See the fact that from his shoulders on down
yes.
to his uh, crotch is
To his feet.
basically,
Yeah.
yeah, there's a triangle. Well, yeah, yeah, you could say it goes to his
Yeah.
feet, and then up through his head and down through his legs, or basically just his neck. It would terminate at his neck. Yeah, yeah. There you go. There's the other triangle. So you start with
Yeah.
these two triangles flowing through and over each other, and then you do all the rest of the knowledge that he's got there. You can get that knowledge elsewhere, but if you start with that starfish, uh, you'll probably have more fun. And of course, with deep foreshortening and stuff like that, you have to solve other things, but you still want to go back to the fluid thing.
Yeah.
Everything isn't going to show you a nice clean starfish to make as a start, but
Right. Yeah. So I have another book. I don't know if you've ever seen. I have way too many books, but I have this book. Have you ever seen this book?
mastering drawing the human figure from life, memory, and imagination. That's interesting. Yeah, that's right away.
So this,
Hey, leave that up there, Scott. Let me quickly critique. Well, I'm not going to critique it because I can't tell that for sure. But it looks like to me he got his proportions off on where a hand could arrive with holding your arm like that. In terms of like he hadn't had it really measured out. He's got it just a little lower than it can naturally go in terms of like where it breaks at the wrist. Yeah, but go ahead, go ahead. It just caught my eye. It caught my eye.
I'm not. So this book, it doesn't spell it. Well, no, it does. It's all about the. Hang on, let me get to it. And it talks about the Riley method.
Yeah, sure. Right there, there's a very clearly you can see that starfish. Yeah, or just two triangles passing over each other.
Right, but it goes into more.
Oh yeah, that's
detail.
just, that's totally the Riley method. I mean, that's what all he's doing is he's passing it on to you.
Yeah, but it's so poorly written.
with probably a little Loomis in there, you know. I mean, all these guys are just trying to let you know the basics of how to do things. So it's poorly written, huh? But it's got nice diagrams.
Well, yeah. I mean, look at this. I mean, that's a crazy diagram.
Yeah, it's pretty gorgeous. Yeah. No. That's great. And like I say, the lines that flow through, the moment you draw, because you don't get away with anything on your muscles and how they pass over and through each other. They all space is accounted for. You have to realize that if you have one line going through something, there's a line it passes into, and the next muscle line takes it up, and that's all they're showing you there is that flow. It has to go on. I don't even think I'll be putting anything. So
I got this other book.
Okay, let's see it.
Oh,
look at that.
So I got this book. And now both these guys supposedly studied with Riley or with people that learned under Riley. I forget which. And this book is interesting because it was written in 82, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And it has like weird computer graphics for everything.
Yeah.
You know,
someone thought they were really
it's
cutting edge with that thing. Yeah.
But it talks about the Riley painting method, but it also talks about, it goes into, let's see if I can find it. Oh, see here, it's got but it's again, it's kind of, they didn't use the best examples here.
Yeah.
In terms of,
printing doesn't look too good on that. But it's
a muscle diagram.
Yeah, it's good.
No.
It's a good diagram, but the inks look a little rich on it.
Yeah, but it's just both these books, the present. I mean, you can tell, and they're published by small press people, you know, and so the presentation on both of them is so lacking that it's just hard to dig into it.
Yeah,
but I don't know. Maybe I need to work on that some.
No,
I don't know. I like your.
No, I stick with Heinrich Clay in cheap bridge. Not who puts out all the Bridgman and Heinrich Clay books. Those Dover. They're so nice and
Dover
cheap.
books. Yeah.
Or they used to be. Man, I used to.
And they're well put together.
Uh-huh.
I have a couple that are very old, and they still hold together pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, I probably have some. I have one that I think it's on the hands or something like that. I wish I could put my hand. I wish I could put my hands on it because I bet you the thing is 60 years old. I bet. I'll check that.
Oh yeah, probably it could be. They do some nice books, but it tends to be public domain stuff, and
Yeah. Oh yeah. there's a lot of
but I mean, what do you need?
there's guys that make a living repackaging public domain on Amazon, which is
Oh yeah.
really, I mean, if a guy's sitting around with nothing to do and he's got all the desktop, we used to call it desktop publishing. I guess people still do. I don't know. But if you've got desktop publishing capabilities and you've got enough savvy to
See
make
my
a
cowboy?
PDF, let's see. Oh, look at that. Nice. I always dig, yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Try a bunch
Michelle had surgery on her finger last week.
How'd it
What?
go?
Do what?
How'd it
Try
go?
a bunch
This
of
this is the cyst, right? Or not? Is this new?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It's a cyst.
Okay.
No. I mean, fairly new. The cyst or the surgery?
The surgery.
The surgery was it was a week ago last Tuesday. And I had to go up there and wait on her. So I drew while I was waiting.
Was when you say surgery, was it just like a incision across the cyst?
Local.
Okay.
A little bit more complicated than that, but yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean those things are. Yeah, they're kind of nasty, but
it involves
getting all of it out. Yeah, it involves getting the cell wall out and getting all this stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Some digging.
Yeah, a little bit of.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's got to open up a little bit to get all of it. If you want it in a hurry, they've got people that pop them for a living on YouTube, I think. There's enough of them anyway.
Well, this wasn't one of those kind of cysts.
No, okay.
This wasn't one of those kind of cysts. It was fibrous.
Yes, there's
because my mom said that when she had one, she told Michelle when she had one, the doctor like took a book and smashed it with a book.
That is a scene in Mario Puzo's Godfather. And when you think about it, Godfather's not a long book. Yeah, there's a scene where a doctor, person's got a cyst on their forearm, and she has them lay it out flat, and he hits it with a book. I don't even remember what character, whatever, but I remember saying that wouldn't work. Thinking it to myself. What?
Yeah, I love that book. That's a great book.
It's been a while since I read it. I just remember that one guy that got the.
I'll tell you.
Go ahead. We need to somehow. I need to do something or whatever that gets us within the same universe on time. I don't know what it would be. Because
I'll watch the YouTube.
Okay.
Probably not StreamYard is what it would be.
Well, maybe that's it. Yeah, maybe if I just start YouTube up and say stream, we'd be better off. Because you can do that.
I don't know if you.
The deal is if it drops you, you just lost all the effort.
Yeah. Oh, because it's recorded, it's not live.
Yeah, exactly.
Or it is.
Yeah, it just says, okay, you didn't do anything.
So speaking of the Godfather, I used to have the Godfather used to be the book I always took with me on an airplane.
So that scene
I found a copy of it at a thrift store or something real cheap.
So you don't remember that scene?
I don't recall that scene.
I'm going to see if I can find it. I'm going to search for it. Go ahead. Tell us about the Godfather.
In there. I just don't recall it. But I have a copy of that book that it was my book I'd take on an airplane because I got it so cheap. I was like, if I lose it, I don't care. And it was cheaper than a magazine and more enjoyable than a magazine.
Yeah.
Or something.
Mucci Brasi. That scene where that guy that gets the old
Oh, it's him.
no, it might be. Let me see. Let me do a search for cyst within this Wikipedia because I love his scene because the character they don't do that in the movie. He throws a baby into an oven, uh, you know, a live baby that he didn't want a woman to have. He tosses a live baby into an oven, and then that story gets around about him, and they know, it even takes these gangsters back, and they realize every time we want somebody who doesn't care about his soul going to hell, we'll just get a hold of Brazzi and have him doing our stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, Brazzi will get it done. He's
Yeah.
the hammer.
Brazzi once killed two of Al Capone's henchmen who were hired to assassinate Don Corleone. Brazzi subdued both men, bound and gagged them with towels. Brazzi dismembered one with an axe. The other terrified man choked to death on the towel. Yeah, here it says she gave birth to Brazzi's child. Brazzi forced the midwife to throw the infant into a burning furnace, saying he wanted none of that race to live. Oh, man. Yeah.
No.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he's the guy that's so uncomfortable at the wedding. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's surprised he got an invitation to the wedding.
Because
he is that guy. Everybody knows he's
he goes
that
to
guy.
thank the Godfather. Yeah.
No, I don't see.
He's the hammer.
Yeah. Yeah. There's certain kinds of shocks and chills that are done in movies just for the sake of shocks. And I remember when I read that in that book, I said, oh, man, it just takes you, it's a hammer blow to read and because obviously
what kind of animal?
Yeah, you visualize things like that when someone presents it to you in words. You say, okay, I'm throwing a baby into a furnace because I read that occurred. Yeah. That's the premise of the movie Funny Games. Or it turns out that there's a moment where in Funny Games, these characters that are doing this horrible treatment to a family of a wife, a husband, and a kid, a teenager, a boy, that this guy turns to the camera and breaks the fourth wall and says, well, here we are. You're enjoying this, I guess. You're still here, or something like that, to where it was weird. But at the same time, you realize here, all this emotion you're feeling, you're in charge of it. You are a willing participant in everything that you're seeing that is a, human atrocity in front of you. You've decided to take it in.
Yeah.
And that was kind of, I think if I remember right, reading about that movie, that was kind of the guy's whole point about that particular movie. Because he wanted people walking out. Yeah, he was wanting people walking out at like the Cannes Fan Festival just about that time. But right before they could get out, he wanted to lay that on them. So that's interesting, It did make me think about as much as any movie. I mean, and it's weird to have a big no-no like breaking the fourth wall make you think that much. But you are a willing participant in all of it.
Yes.
It's like all of this.
Yeah, you're watching this.
Yeah.
I had my Soprano moment like that where I was like, I don't know if I can watch any more of this.
What, when he like beats the girl to death or something? That girl that gets beaten to death
before
by
that
one. Okay, before that. Which scene?
when he set on her dog.
Oh,
But when he set on the dog and killed it,
okay. It just seemed
I
too
was
too
like, this is not
too cold blooded.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's like these are not people that yeah, because he was high and he set on the dog and killed it, and it's like, I don't know if I want to watch this anymore.
Yeah. Well, that's what
But I
that's
did.
what Scott Adams always claims that
I'm
he
not
doesn't.
done with it.
Yeah. But then you got back into it, the characters. Oh, you saw that link I sent you about
He doesn't what?
I'm not sure, what did I say about Tony? Did you see that link I sent you about Christopher talking about Elon Musk? Saying, I don't know, T. I think
Yeah.
because I couldn't get over how
Yeah.
it was something Christopher never said in the show or anything, but the guy just had the music of how stupid the stuff Christopher would say. Just he had it down. He nailed it. So, yeah, I don't know, T. I think we will be up there in
Yes.
little helmets and stuff, and they, he would know nothing and would never have absorbed anything in school about anything scientific, but he would go ahead and give it a go in terms of describing
Mars
it.
or space or
Yeah. What's the most?
Yeah, that's what that show is all about, is bravado and
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You don't have to know anything to get ahead in this game, other than there's chumps and there's guys that run the chumps. Yeah.
Yep. What were you asking me? What's the what?
Well, what I've been watching the Umbrella Academy, and I can't get over. I had it was almost a slog, because they got a hook in me pretty good in terms of like giving me characters I cared something about here and there, and so I stuck with it through series 1. Got through it, kind of disappointed with the big finale. So I said, "Oh, do I even want to start season 2?" And then I'm already on the 4th episode of season 2. They just, whatever they did wrong in season 1, they decided not to do in season 2, which is kind of weird to be liking season 2 so much better. But I haven't read the books, and I picked that one thing up at the library when we were there recently, and so I liked the artwork. All right, it's okay, and I saw the little musician girl moment where she's basically destroying the world with her violin. I'll probably send for some of that. Pick it up, read a few. Is that Miller? Is that his name? Is that?
Yeah, I think I picked up the first 2 trades. No, it's Gabriel or something Way, I think is his name, is the writer, and Ball, I think, is the artist or something like that. I forget. I was at San Diego when that book won like all kinds of Eisner Awards and stuff.
Oh,
and so I always, and the guy from My Chemical Romance was there.
Oh, yeah,
and,
Trent. Yeah, he's got something to do with it. Yeah.
I don't think it's Trent, but anyway.
Okay.
Anyway, so I picked them. I saw them cheap somewhere, picked them up, and I think I've read them, but I mean, I don't remember them.
Yeah.
It was just kind of one of those. It's like I had to be in the right mood to read this, and I'm not sure it makes a lot of sense even when I'm in the right mood.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no. It manages to weave a few things together that are kind of interesting, kind of fun. Yeah. Like I say, season 2 sold me on how good it is. Whereas I've got one episode left of Schitt's Creek. I've been fading on that, but it's good to have watched.
Oh
No,
gosh,
you don't like it. What else have I seen lately?
No, I don't care. Oh gosh, I'm not going to tell you what I started watching. Okay,
List.
so I have HBO
Uh-huh.
Max, but for some reason I get kicked out of it, and it keeps asking me to put in my password, and I have it through my AT&T phone, you
Mm-hmm.
know. So I have it. I've got it. Uh, I watched the New Mutants, and but it still keeps hassling me. So it's like last night, their night, I got frustrated with it, and so I said I'm gonna look on Prime. I'm not gonna mess with this anymore. I'm gonna look on Prime and see if I can find something to watch.
Yeah.
And I looked, and they had the show My Name Is Earl. Have you ever seen that,
Uh-uh. What's that about?
Ellis?
No, I haven't seen it. What is
Oh,
that about?
it it's about a guy. It's about a guy. It's kind of a redneck dude, petty criminal. Uh, gets a lottery ticket, and while before he can cash it, gets hit by a car. And he realized while he's in the hospital, he realizes that the reason why everything bad is happening to him is because of karma. And so he makes while he's in the hospital recovering, he makes a list of all the people who've wronged him, or I mean that he's wronged his
He's
entire
wrong.
life.
He's wrong.
And
Yeah.
so from then on, that he's wronged, yeah, not that have wronged
Yeah.
him. So he's got to go make up all this stuff to these people, and
That would set a
I think
person's.
it's kind of funny,
No, no, no. It
funnier
would.
than Schitt's
It
Creek,
would.
that's for sure.
It would work. It would. Yeah. Yeah. Schitt's Creek is. Yeah. They've just got a couple of characters that just crack me up. The Catherine O'Hara's character just is able to really make me laugh pretty hard, pretty often. So that's why I hang with it. And I like basically what I'm digging is basically that energy of the old SCTV I'm seeing with those two. And Chris
I
Elliott,
could get that. I could see that. I used to watch that.
SCTV.
Yeah, I like Chris Elliott a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, Chris
and
Elliott.
Chris Elliott.
Yeah, he can be very funny.
Well, I used to watch SCTV because of Bob and Doug McKenzie.
Yeah, sure.
That's what
Yeah,
I liked.
yeah, they were funny. Yeah,
Yeah,
that first show where where the movie starts, and it's great. They've only topped it by that one with the puppets, the American, that one with the what's the name of that group that puts out a puppet show every week practically? Uh, American something or other. You know what show I'm talking about? The only people that put out a puppet show in 20 years. I can't think of the name. Okay. But now I forget what I was going to say.
yeah.
Never mind.
I don't know who puts out a puppet show.
Okay.
Gotcha. Oh, hey,
Yeah.
Ellis, it's 8. I need to go.
Yeah, it's an hour.
But
We'll say goodbye there, buddy.
Thanks for waiting for me.
Oh, I didn't wait. Okay.
Yeah, thanks for waiting.
Okay.
Well,
And I'm going to do some research.
Thanks for doing it, even though I was late. Let me put it
I'm
that way.
going to do some research. Believe me, I'm going to find out why we aren't talking in the same time continuum, and I'll solve it. Okay, we'll see you later. Let me end this.